This is the Bushnell Tour V6. It's Bushnell's latest laser rangefinder. At £399 or $399 in the US, it's a pretty expensive piece of kit. So I'm going to put it through its paces here on the course today so you can see what it's actually like to use, as well as how accurate it is. I've got a special club in the bag today to test just that. And I'm also going to compare it against the previous Bushnell Tour V5 Shift so you can see how the two stack up, because you can buy the old one now at a pretty big discount. And I'm also going to compare it against a cheaper laser rangefinder. I've got the Mileseey PF260 here, which retails for around a quarter of the price of the V6. And you know what? As a bonus for everyone watching this video in the first month of its release, if I manage to land a tee shot on a par 3 on the green in this video today, I'll give away the Mileseey rangefinder to one lucky viewer as well. So let's get cracking. Who remembers these from science class? Time for a quick jog and a measure back. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, 23, 24. 124 meters. Starting with the Tour V6 Shift. 123 meters. That's not too bad, given the fact that there is a slope on that as well. Now let's try the older V5. 123. Now let's try the cheap Amazon Mileseey. This is about £100-ish, £120, 122. So a couple of meters shorter. As a 17 handicap golfer at the moment, that's not going to make the world of difference from me. In terms of the Bushnells, I'm pretty happy with that accuracy. Now I've only got a 7-iron or a pitching wedge, so we're going to go with a very gentle 7-iron. Although wind is against pretty strong, so maybe it doesn't need to be too gentle. Ah, I've sliced it off to the right big time. You're gonna have to wait until the next par 3. And with a shot like that, don't be holding your breath. For anyone that's doing their research online, you've probably noticed that there's a lot of similarities between the specs of the V6 compared to the specs of the previous V5. Both of them have got 6 times magnification. Both of them use the visual and vibrate jolt, which is really good, confirming when you've locked onto a flag. Both of them actually have a very similar case design and kind of layout. Both the V5 and the V6 also have the magnet on the back, the Bushnell bite system, so you can easily clip it onto your cart. And when you really dig into the nitty-gritty of the actual optics and specs, they're pretty much the same, at least to the relative layperson like me and you. Both also come with very similar cases that easily clip onto the bag. So what's the difference, except for the fact that the new one costs probably about £100 more when you find the old one in the sales? Well, it's one main thing and 2 smaller things really. The main thing is the fact that this is now IPX6 waterproof. Now that means that it should be able to withstand a significant downpour. So if you're worried that you're going to get caught out in the shower, kind of like I am right now, then at least you know that this should continue working even in the rain. The other 2 main differences are improvements to the flag lock and the visual jolt, which we'll test in a moment, as well as improvements to the optics. If you are finding this video helpful, then please make sure you smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Now this is a pretty decent longer range test for these rangefinders. So let's start with the V6. Here we go, let's give it a quick zap there. Right, 240, 240, and 240. Really quick to lock on, really easy to use. This is some distance and it's not the best of light conditions either. So now let's try the older model, the V5. Okay, so it didn't quite like that, 259. I think it's picked up the sticks behind. There we go, right, 239, we'll try it again. 239 and 238. So a little bit of variation there actually. Not a huge amount, a yard difference isn't gonna make any difference to a golfer like me, but interesting that it is a couple of yards shorter generally compared to the V6, and there was a yard difference on those 3 tests. Now let's try the much cheaper Mileseey. Quite, it's taking a lot longer to lock on. Right, 246 that's telling me. Let's try it again. Hang on, right, there we go. So 247 that time. One more time. 246. So you can see that the further out you go with these cheaper rangefinders, you're gonna potentially start finding some more significant variations. If you are thinking about buying the Bushnell Tour V6 or the older Tour V5, then I have included any affiliate links and exclusive discounts as well down in the description below, so hopefully you'll be able to pick this up for less than retail price. Now, have I actually noticed any difference in regards to the optics? Well, actually a little bit, yes. I would say that the new V6 is definitely a little bit brighter when looking down the viewfinder. We've not got the greatest light conditions today, and I can definitely tell the difference between the V6 and the V5. Yep, this one is just a little bit brighter, which is a nice thing, to be fair. Bushnell have said that they've made improvements to the pin lock and visual jolt system on the new V6, but to be honest, using the two side by side, I've not actually noticed that difference. The one thing that I have noticed is that for some reason the V5 is just a yard or two shorter consistently throughout the day compared to the V6. One very small element where the V5 I think is actually a little bit better compared to the V6 is if you do want to switch between yardage and meters mode, because there you've got a simple button and you simply press it and it changes over to meters. With this one, you have a settings button on the top, so you have to hold down the settings button. Then you get an option at the bottom which says setup and your yardage is changing. Then you hold the yardage button on the top and then it changes over to meters. Then you get these numbers on the bottom, 0 and 3 and 2. Then you press it again and then it's changed over to yardages. So without looking at the manual, that's just a little bit more confusing with the V6. Would I recommend the new V6? Yeah, absolutely I would, if you can justify the price. Are you really seeing the differences between the V5 and the V6? Personally, to my untrained eye, not necessarily, at least not $100 difference worth. Yes, the V6 is a little bit brighter, but other than that, really, they are really quite similar, and you're probably gonna get just as good a performance out of the V5 as you're gonna get for the V6, certainly for most average golfers like you and me. These units are, however, a pretty significant step up compared to the cheaper rangefinders that you can get on Amazon for around 100 to 120 pounds. Now, if your budget really is tight, then absolutely, you can go with the Mileseey and you're gonna get a good experience. You're just probably not going to get a great experience like you're going to get with one of these Bushnells. If you're anything like me and are the type of golfer that's always on the lookout for a bargain, then make sure you sign up to my monthly newsletter where I share the greatest and biggest discount deals that I can find on the internet for all the latest and greatest golf tech. So here we go, the second and final par 3 on this front 9. Elevated tee and pretty much a postage stamp green. 114, in fact, let's turn slope mode on. Why not? We're not in a competition. So 114, playing 111. Wind is heavily into face. I think we're gonna go pitching wedge. Okay, so if we land this anywhere on the green, I'll give away the Mileseey rangefinder to one lucky viewer. It's got a chance. The wind's just grabbing it a bit. I think that, oh, it's just kind of rolled off. It's close. It's close. I think that's going to count as on the green. I think so. Let's get down and have a look. Right, this is going to be a very close call, but I think by the skin of its teeth, I'm going to say that that is just on the green. So there you go. That was close, but one lucky viewer is going to win the Mileseey rangefinder. So all you got to do to enter the competition is leave a comment down below. Comment anything you want, and that's it. I will post it anywhere in the world. I will pick one lucky winner in 1 month's time. Full details of the competition will be in the description. If you have enjoyed this video today, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And while you hang on to see whether I can actually make this birdie putt or not, then if you are in the market for a new piece of golf tech and you're thinking about the Bushnell V6, then you're probably going to also want to consider the brand new Garmin Approach S70 golf watch. So make sure you check out that review right here, and let's see whether I can roll in this birdie putt. No, I can't. Welcome to 17 Handicap Golf.